For this version of working on our internal rotation of the hip, you can be in a tall kneeling position, maybe holding onto some PVC pipes, or you could be with your hands and knees on the ground. Whichever way you feel most comfortable is fine, but you're going to use a block to keep your foot out so that your foot is rotating outside of your body with your knee directly beneath your hip. In this position, we're going to stretch for about 2 minutes. You should feel stretched deep in your hip. Some things that might help are opening your hips more open, trying to drive your glutes forward, or slightly turning into the leg that you are stretching. That's going to force that rotation even more into the hip and keep us from kind of doing something wonky with our spine or hips to get out of the stretch where we want it. It should be deep in this hip. In this position, we'll stretch, should feel deep in the hip once again for 2 minutes in the stretch or the designated amount of time that we give you. Feeling the stretch at the end of that prescribed amount of stretch, we'll begin trying to rotate our hip back to neutral, driving our foot into the block. So in this position, I'm going to stay in the same place I had that stretch. I'll begin driving the foot in. If you can't see, what I'm doing is I'm rotating in this direction here, driving against that kettlebell, ramping up my energy, my drive. Maybe for about the first 10 seconds, I ramp up to 100. The second 10 seconds, I'm driving 100% foot into that block. You should really feel us firing up through your hips, through your glutes. At the end of this, for our rails contraction, I'll begin driving my foot out as much as possible. Make sure we don't rotate our whole spine to get out of that, but just rotating, feeling a squeeze on the outside of the hip to get our foot away from the kettlebell.